Okay, so time to talk about what I've been waiting to talk about for a while. Steam Machine. Take a step back and talk about how we even got to this point, kind of my history with PC gaming. Started in 2016. I've seen a video or something like that where they were talking about Steam and the sales that they were having. And I think at the time the game that caught my interest was either Shadow of Mordor or The Stick of Truth. And it was on sale for some insane price. So I bought it. I was like, oh, okay, I'll play that. Not knowing anything about PC gaming, at the time, I think I had a Surface laptop and you could just kind of log in there and treat it like a normal laptop. I didn't know about GPUs or anything like that. So tried to play a game on that one and it ran at like 8 frames per second. Went back to the drawing board to kind of figure out why I couldn't play this game. Because I'm like, well, Steam is so popular. People are gaming on the computers. Why can't I run this game? It's just essentially a cartoon. So that's when I stumbled onto one of Austin Evans' videos. And I believe at the time it was called the Bonson 2.0. I'm sure that video isn't even on this page anymore, but that's where I learned how to build a PC. I think at the time it cost about 300 or 350 to build. So I just ordered all the parts to kind of get familiar with what it was that I needed to build a PC and started from there. Built that PC, felt comfortable about it. So I was like, all right, now that I understand what everything means and what everything does and how to get exactly the performance I'm looking for, let me start to build mine. And that's when I built the PC I've been kind of sitting with for almost the last 10 years. This PC had, and I can pull up the specs now, Intel Core i5 6600. I had a MSI Z178 gaming motherboard, 16 gigs of RAM, 2 terabytes of internal hard drive, and then a 256 gigabyte SSD. And for my GPU, I started off with an RX 480 and then upgraded to a 1080. And this is sat in the same essentially mid-sized tower that I've been using the entire time. I had 650 and I've rocked out with that computer since 2016. And for the most part, it's played everything that I needed to play all the way up until the last, I would say 4 or 5 years ago is when things started to kind of slow down for what it could handle. I think the one thing that really stopped me was Forza Horizon 5 came out and it barely ran on there. I also tried to run Elden Ring on there and it couldn't run it at all. I think I was barely hitting 25 frames and that was low settings and everything. It couldn't run. That's when I kind of put it on pause. But after that, I picked up the Steam Deck, which I have been absolutely loving. Posted a review about that one, or my thoughts on the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck has been a great kind of midpoint of giving me my PC gaming. For me, I don't necessarily care about having 4K visuals and all that stuff. I just want the games to run acceptable. And for this one, I can play it on the go. I can play it downstairs in the living room or wherever I need to be. I can take it on a vacation. I don't have to worry about, oh, all my games are back at home. I can't really play. This worked out for me for the time being. But then newer games started to release, games that are way more powerful and like they can, for the most part, run on the Steam Deck, but you're going to be missing some things. You have to really crank it down a lot, even with having FSR on the system or in the settings. You'll still have to crank it down a bit and everything just can't run the way you would like. In comes Valve announcing the Steam Machine. And when they first announced it, I was like, this looks great. It looks like it's the form factor I've been wanting because I've been kind of picking out the parts that I want to build for my next PC, but prices just kept skyrocketing. And I'm like, right now it's not important for me to spend that much money on a PC. If I could just get something like midway that's good enough and can play everything that I'm looking to play right now and can hold me over until I'm ready to spend like the couple $1,000s that I want to spend on the PC I want to build, I'm good. When they announced the Steam Machine, my mind, I already thought it was going to be about $1,000. When everybody was like, no, it's going to match the consoles, I was like, I feel like this is going to be a $1,000 product. I was hoping to be wrong, but ended up being right. So for me, when they announced the price, I was like, well, I already planned for it. When I looked at the specs and watched all the reviews, it kind of had me a little worried about if this would be enough. But even watching something like Linus Tech Tips video, he was just trying to push raw 4K. As long as you know who you are and how you're going to be playing, none of that should have even mattered. Unless I'm wrong, Valve always said that the 4K was in conjunction with FSR, 4K 60 with the power of FSR. And for me, I'm not going to be doing 4K. I'm probably going to be running everything at 1080p or 1440p. So as long as it can run that, I'm good to go. This made sense for me. It was the form factor I wanted. It had all the capabilities I was looking for as far as like CEC that isn't on anything that doesn't require like a hack. So now I can control my TV. I can turn the volume up and everything, turn it off. Everything is connected all in one system. It's in this nice little portable box. The size of this compared to my old PC is crazy. Well, first, let me talk about the unboxing experience. So taking it out the box, pretty simple affair. I mean, you take it out. They had, I bought the 512 gigabyte version, I believe it was, that came with the controller. Everything was bundled up together. Controller was perfectly packaged. The box itself was super perfectly packaged. I mean, that thing wasn't moving. And then when I took it out, like I said, a nice firm piece of hardware. It didn't feel cheap. It felt like everything was contained, and it came with a power cord and an HDMI cable, which is all I needed. Took that, popped it into my entertainment system, and began connecting it to the TV and everything like that to start the updates as well as starting to download the games I want to play. The setup process was extremely simple. I mean, if you've had any piece of Steam, I would say hardware, but just the Steam experience in general is pretty simple. You usually pop up a QR code, you scan it from your phone, automatically logs you in. And then as long as you've had a Steam Deck before or any kind of thing that runs SteamOS or ran Steam Big Picture, you know what to expect. So went into my library, grabbed a few games. The one I was excited to play once I got this system was Forza Horizon 6. So picked that one up, downloaded that. I'm in the middle of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So I was like, cool, I'll grab that on here as well and play that on the TV as well as play it handheld. And then I just downloaded a few other games. And then after a while, I was like, well, let me just download the whole library onto external hard drive so that whenever I want to play them, I can play them. Setup process was great. Software so far has been what I expected because, again, I've had the Steam Deck for a while, so I knew what to expect there. Getting to the benchmarks, this is where things start to kind of be up and down. So again, for me, I ran everything at about either 1080p or 1440p. And I have the footage here showing you, like, I think I started off with Final Fantasy Rebirth because it's a game that I'm in the middle of right now. So I know what it looks like. I know what to expect. The area I was in at the time was pretty busy, so I could see what performance looks like with a lot of things on the screen. It ran, first of all, it looked incredible. I didn't realize what I was missing because I've been playing this game entirely on my Steam Deck. So I got to see what the game is actually supposed to look like. I have the settings here. I have to remember exactly what I was running at. Final Fantasy ran pretty good. I got it for the most part at almost a lock 60 at the settings that I have listed here. For Rocket League, please ignore my play here. I have not played Rocket League since, I think it said 2024, and this used to be one of my favorite games, but I was like, let me just pop this one in and see, because I should be familiar with it. It ran fantastic, no surprise there. However, I'm not good at the game anymore, so I'm not sure if I'll be playing this much any longer. I couldn't get on with this one. For Forza, I ran a few benchmarks here to kind of figure out where that sweet spot is. I was a little worried at first because, again, brand new game. I assumed that this device would be able to run it at high settings for anything. And even when I went to the benchmark, it recommended low settings. I was like, okay, let me set it for high. Well, first of all, I started at low. It was lock 60. I was like, okay, I can go higher than that. Let me go to medium, lock 60. I went to high, lock 60, and then I turned on FSR for the anti-aliasing. Looks incredible. And I believe this one is running at 1440p. So I'll have the notes listed here just for you to quickly understand like exactly what I'm running for each of the benchmarks. Forza looked incredible. I was very excited to jump into that one. Elden Ring, I played that one completely on my Steam Deck. All I know was the handheld experience. I threw that thing on the TV. I cannot wait to play the DLC because I've never played it before, but I did get myself prepped and ready and beat everything in the base game. So now I cannot wait to run that one. It ran incredible. Again, I only walked around the area, but I just needed to see what it looked like, if it would run, and that it did. And then I threw in Red Dead Redemption 2 because I haven't played that one yet and ran the benchmark there. That one ran incredible as well and looked good. I believe that one was benchmarked at 1080p, so I'd have to double check that. That doesn't bother me. 1080p at high settings, it looks incredible and was locked 60. If I want to, I can jump up to 1440p, and most of this was without FSR. I think Forza had FSR. I don't think I turned it on for Final Fantasy, but if I did, I'll leave a note up there. So the early verdict on this one right now is I love it. I think it's absolutely worth getting if you're just wanting a no frills way to get an entry level PC and start PC gaming. This thing gives you everything that, or not everything, it gives you some features that building a PC won't give you, like having CEC capabilities, having the controller puck built into the system itself so that you don't have to have the dongle hanging out somewhere, even though it's a great charging solution. So it honestly doesn't bother me having that there. However, there are a few things that I noted that I picked up on while testing out a few things. So one thing that I noted is that the console crashed after the piano mission that I have recorded here in Final Fantasy. I did the little piano mission, side mission, backed out of it, or finished the mission, stepped away from the piano, and then the system just crashed and had to completely start it over. The console, I have a note here that console does not continue downloads after it loses connection. We've been having issues with the internet here lately, so now when the internet cut out, it didn't want to restart everything. So I had to manually go in and start everything up again. That may have changed because I received an update recently, so that could have changed and isn't a problem anymore, but at the time, downloads would not restart. I've had this happen a couple times where the system just freezes when I'm trying to exit a game. And I don't know if that's because I'm in the middle of downloading like almost my entire Steam library, even though those aren't supposed to download when I'm running a game. When I'm trying to exit a game, a lot of times the system itself just freezes. And I'm like, okay, that's what it is. Just either step away and walk away from it or restart the console, whatever you need to do. But those are some of the things, some of the hiccups that I've noticed from a software perspective. Game-wise, everything seems to run just fine. I've had almost no issues. There's been a few hiccups in certain areas depending on the population of things that need to be rendered at the time. But for the most part, everything runs pretty flawless. In my summary, again, this is just early impression of the system itself. I've been playing with it for the last 3 or 4 days, and I'll continue to do more research on how good this is or if it's worth it in the long run. But as of right now, absolutely love it. I think that it's worth it. If you do get lucky to be able to purchase this, I think you should, especially if it's something that fits the needs of what you're looking for at the moment. But if you're somebody who cares about 4K and you care about the visuals, just go ahead and save the money and build. That's all I have for the time being. I'll be in the comments if you have any questions about it, or you can reach out to me on my socials. All right, peace.